Now, in this part of the lecture, we are going to talk about mood. We are going to talk about mood. Now, the word mood is derived from the Latin word, which is modus. The word mood is derived from the Latin word, which is modus, and it means mode or manner. So the word modus means mode or manner. Now, so what is mood all about? Mood refers to the way or the manner in which an action represented by a verb is presented. It refers to the way or manner in which an action is represented by a verb. Now, in the English language, we have three moods. We have three moods. The first is called the indicative mood. The indicative mood. The second is called the imperative mood. Imperative mood. While the third is called the subjunctive. The subjunctive mood. Now, in this part of the lecture, we are actually going to concentrate on the indicative mood. Because in JAMB, we have come to discover that in JAMB, UTME, GCE, and the likes, the questions are always set on the subjunctive. So that's why in this part of the lecture, we are going to concentrate more on the subjunctive mood. But that does not mean that we are not going to talk about the indicative mood and the imperative mood. So let's take them one by one. Now, the indicative mood is used to express a statement of fact or to ask question. Whenever we want to express a statement of fact or we want to express or ask a question, we use the indicative mood. For instance, to express a statement of fact, example, I can say the match has been postponed. The match has been postponed. Now, that is a statement of fact. Now, another way I can say is that, another example is that he speaks with an American accent. He speaks with an American accent. Remember I said that the indicative mood is used to express, number one, a statement of fact. An example of that is the match has been postponed, while the second one is he speaks with an American accent. Number two, the indicative mood is used to ask question. To ask question. To ask question. Example, we have you read my new book? Have you read my new book? Another example is how are you? How are you? So the indicative mood is used to perform two things. Number one, to express a statement of fact, and number two, to ask question. Now we now go to the second type of mood, and that is the imperative mood. The imperative mood. The imperative mood. Now, the imperative mood is used to make an entity. To make an entity, to express a command, and to make an exhortation. Now, I said, number one, it is used to express a command. A command. Now, the word imperative, I'm talking about imperative now. The word imperative is actually used to express a command. So if I say something like, come here, that is a command. I can say, wait there. That is a command. Go out. That is a command. So anytime you want to express a command, we make use of what? Of the imperative mood. Number 2, we use the imperative mood to make an exhortation. To make an exhortation. For instance, what I was able to make an exhortation when you want to give a charge. You want to implore somebody to do something. For instance, I said to make an exhortation. Exhortation. Example, I can say A, be steady. Be steady. I'm trying to want to give a command there. No, I mean to give an exhortation, charge somebody. Listen attentively. Listen attentively. Now, in that example 2, I am what? Expressing or exhorting the person to do something. So anytime I want to, exhort someone to do something, I make use of what? Of the imperative mood. Number 3, the imperative mood is also used what? To say a prayer or to make an entreaty. To say a prayer or to make an entreaty. Now we're going to talk about the third type of mood, which is what? The subjunctive mood. The subjunctive mood. Now, talking about the subjunctive mood, it is not, common in the English language. Why is it so? The subjunctive mood refers to some of the words that we used to use in old or archaic English that we still make use of today. Now, some of these subjunctive have actually disappeared from the modern English language, but we still have a few of them that we use every day. So when you look at this expression, they are normally used to express wishes, a wish, hope, desire, intention, and so on and so forth. So the subjunctive mood is actually used to express a wish, a hope, a desire, an intention, etc. But like I said before, some of these expressions have actually disappeared from the modern English. But a few of them are still being used. And that's what we're going to talk about now. Now, there are 2 types of subjunctive mood. We have the present subjunctive, and we have the past subjunctive. Now, the present subjunctive, they are found in some traditional phrases when you are expressing wishes. Traditional phrases like, God bless you. God bless you. Long live Nigeria. Long live Nigeria. All hail the king. All hail the king. Heaven, help us. Heaven, help us. Now these are traditional phrases that we normally use when we want to express a wish or you want to bless someone. Now like I told you, some of these expressions are not grammatical. For instance, if you consider the expression, God bless you, it does not really obey the law of concord. Now, it says, God bless you. It is wrong because God is a singular noun, while blessed is a plural noun. If you want to go by the rule of concord, you discover that this particular expression is what? Is very, very defective. So like I said before, there are some of the old English that we still use today. Now, if you want to use them properly, we may say, may God bless you. But we still go ahead and say to people that what? God bless you. If I can say, long live Nigeria. In other words, another way, the better way of actually saying that is to say, may Nigeria live long. But like I said, some of these expressions are still used today. So they are found in some traditional phrases that are used to express wishes, hope, and the likes of that. Now, the second function of this present subjunctive is when we make use of them in the formal English, whereby we have a clause that is dependent on another word expressing a wish or an intention. We use them in formal English in a sentence or in a clause that is dependent on a verb expressing a wish or an intention. Now, such words that are followed by this present subjunctive are words like recommend, recommend, insist, suggest, move, and so on and so forth. Let me give us an example. The committee moved that Mr. Bayo dash sat. A, you have been. B, may have been. C, B, and D, been. Now, if you look at this example, the committee moved that Mr. Bayo dash sat. Now, the verb here is what? Is move. So, whenever we have a verb like move, like I said before, recommend, insist, suggest, move, demand, and so on and so forth, then the form of verb that must come after it must be what? The present subjunctive. So this sentence is better when I say the committee moved that Mr. Bayo be sacked. The committee moved that Mr. Bayo be sacked, not had been sacked, not may have been sacked, but the committee moved that Mr. Bayo be sacked. Now, another example, we recommended that he dash the meeting. A, attended. B, attends. C, attend. And D is attending. We recommended that he dash the meeting. A, attended the meeting. B, attends the meeting. C, attend the meeting. And D is attending the meeting. Remember I said that anytime you have verbs like recommend, insist, suggest, move, demand, and so on and so forth, it should be followed by what? By the present subjunctive. So the best answer here is not attended, neither is it what? Attends. The best answer here is what? Attend. So the sentence you read like this: we recommended that he attend the meeting. So that is the present subjunctive. So in this sense, anytime we have such verbs, they should be followed by what? By the infinitive form of the verb. That's why we have be here, and here we have what? Attend. So these are some of the ways that we express the present subjunctive. Now let's go to the second part of the subjunctive, which is what? The past subjunctive. The past subjunctive. The past subjunctive. Past subjunctive. Now, the past subjunctive is used after the verb wish, when we want to indicate that something is not real. The past subjunctive is used after the verb wish, when we wish to indicate that something is not real. Examples. We have I wish. I wish I dash money. A. I'm having. B. Have. C. Had. And D. Were having. Now, I wish I dash money. Now, I told you that the past subjunctive is used after the verb wish to indicate something that is not real. So, whenever we have wish and we are trying to express something that is not real, we have to make the word of the past tense. So, I wish I dash money. The answer here will be what? I wish I had money. I wish I had money. So I'm talking about something that is not real. So in such an instance, whenever we have the verb wish, it should be followed by what? By the past tense. Now, number two, quickly, number two, when we want to say that it is already late, and we want to use the verb, please, I want us to listen very, very well here. We want to indicate that it is late, and we use the expressions like it is time, or it is about time, or it is I time plus subject. Whenever we have any of this expression, it is time plus subject, it is about time plus subject, it is I time plus subject, we have to make use of what? Of the past tense. We have to make use of the past tense to indicate that what? It is late. Example. Look at the following examples. A. It is I time. It is I time we dash the game. It is I time we dash the game. A. That will be what? Starts. B. Starts. C. Started. D. Are starting. Now, like I told you, anytime we have the expression it is time, followed by what? The subject, or it is about time, followed by a subject, or it is I time, followed by a subject, then the verb that must come after it must be what? The past tense. So, I say it is I time, then the subject here is what? Is we. So, the verb that must come here must be what? Must be past tense. This is present tense, this is start, this is start, and this is started, and this is what? Starting. So the right answer here is what? Is starting. So we say, it is I time we started the game. It is I time we started the game. Look at another example. It is about time you dash for home. It is about time you dash for home. A. We have leave. B. You have leaves. C. You have are leaving. And D. You have left. It is about time you dash for home. Remember we said anytime you have it is time, or it's about time, or it is high time followed by a subject, the verb will be past tense. So we have it is about time, and the subject here is what? Is you. So because of that, the verb will be what? Past tense, which is what? Left. It is about time you left for home. It's about time you left for home. So that is another function, another way we can use what? The past subjunctive. Now, I need to say something here before I give this particular point. I need this is something here before I leave this particular point. Now, when this expression, it is time, it is about time, it is high time, is not followed by a subject. Unlike the first one, when this expression, it is time, it's about time, or it is high time, is not followed by a subject. Then, now, the infinitive form of the verb, the infinitive form of the verb is preferred. Now, let's look at some examples. Look at this sentence. It is time dash home. Let's say we have to here. It is time to dash home. We have A, went. B, have gone. C, go. And D, were going. It is time to dash home. Now, what is different in this sentence is from the first one we looked at is that after the time here, there is no subject. After the time here, there is no subject. We have the to. And as a matter of fact, anytime we have to should be followed by the infinitive form of the verb. So I can say it is time to went home, unlike what we had before. It should be what? It is time to go home. So, once again, anytime you have the expression it is time, it is about time, or it is high time, and it is not followed by what? By the subject, then the infinitive form of the verb is preferred. So the answer here is what? Is go. Alright, now let's look at the third function, or the third use of the subjunctive mood. The third use of the subjunctive mood. Now, the subjunctive mood is also used after, the past subjunctive is also used after the expression would rather plus subject to imply preference. The past subjunctive is used after the expression would rather plus subject to imply preference. For instance, I have this expression, I would rather you dash now. I would rather you dash now. I have A, leave. B, let. C, had left. And D, is leaving or are leaving. Now, I told us whenever we have the expression would rather followed by what? The subject, the past subjunctive is used. That is the past tense. So look at this sentence. I would rather you dash now. So once we say we have past tense, then we must have past tense. This is present tense, this is past tense, this is past perfect, and this is present continuous. So the rule says that whenever we have the expression would rather followed by subject, whenever I want to indicate preference, it should be followed by what? The past tense. So the answer here is what? Is let. I would rather you let now. It may sound awkward, but it actually what? Is correct. Number 2. I would rather you dash in the kitchen. I would rather you dash in the kitchen. A, cooks. B, are cooking. Are cooking. C, cooked. And D, have cooked. Have cooked. Now, if we look at this example, we said anytime we have would rather plus subject, it should be followed by what? By the past subjunctive. So here we have would rather, and these are subject you. So the verb that must come after it must be what? Must be the past tense. So I would rather you cooked the dinner or in the kitchen. I would rather you cooked in the kitchen. The answer here is what? Is the option C. The answer here is what? Is option C. Now, we're going to look at another function of the past subjunctive. But before we go to that, let me mention something that is very, very important here. Now, looking at the expression would rather, it is also possible for us to have the expression would rather, but it is not followed by what? By the subject. In other words, whenever you have would rather minus subject, whenever we have the expression would rather minus subject, we are going to have the infinitive form of the verb. Infinitive form of the verb. The verb. Look at this example. She would rather dash than marry the poor, wretched man. She would rather dash than marry the poor, wretched man. A. She would rather die. B. She would rather dies. C. She would rather be dead. And D. She would rather die. She would rather dash than marry the poor, wretched man. Now, like I told us, whenever we have would rather and we don't have a subject, then the infinitive form of the verb is used. So in this case, past tense will be wrong. The present tense here will be wrong. What do we need here? We need the infinitive form of the verb, which is what? Die. So the sentence will read, she would rather die than marry the poor, wretched man. She would rather die than marry the poor, wretched man. Now, another function of the subjunctive mood, which is number 4, under the past subjunctive, is when we have the expression as if and or as though. Whenever we have the expression as if or as though, they or it must be followed by what? The past subjunctive. Whenever we have the expressions as if or as though, it will be followed by what? By the past subjunctive. Subjunctive. Example. He ordered us about. He ordered us about as if we dash his boys. So the answer here is what? Where is boys?